Weeks ago, over Memorial Day weekend 2018, North Carolina experienced the wrath of the remnants of Tropical Storm Alberto. Mudslides, landslides, and flooding happened right where we happened to be camping in Marion, North Carolina. Marvin was away working at a job, and I had planned to have a few days of quiet alone time. Instead, I had to face an evacuation in the middle of the night because of fears of Lake Tahoma Dam breaking. I want to show you the level of this creek. This has gone up considerably from when we first got here. It's always been fast moving, but it's really going today, and you can see it's touching the limbs of some of the other trees that are hanging over it. So this is outside of the back of our rig. This is a little sort of an island that sticks out here. So far has been fine. If this goes underwater, I will start getting worried. But I think we're good so far. And this wall, bank wall, is very high. I don't know if you can get a perspective on that or not. Under other circumstances, this would be really fun to raft on. But this is Memorial Weekend 2018. This place was packed over the weekend, and people started leaving yesterday actually because there wasn't much point in staying, to be honest. It's been raining like crazy. That's all it's done is rain. It's supposed to just keep on raining. Oh, look, the sun is out. How exciting. Don't know how long that's going to last. And so now I'm coming out to check the water level. And it looks like it's a little higher than it was earlier. And it is running really quick, as you can see. Alright, here's my other reference point, which is that little island that I talked about earlier. And I am pretty sure that part of that is now underwater. I don't like the look of this. This is definitely higher than it was, what, an hour and a half ago? This is running so dang fast. If this does overflow, there's not going to be any time. Okay, I'm coming around to the other side of the camper. And that little island that I said I was keeping an eye on, you can't see it now. It is now covered with water. I know I got a warning earlier about another campground that they were evacuating downhill from us. But so far no warnings about this one, but I'm trying to make a decision here on what to do. I have noticed that no one else seems to be leaving. I did go ahead and get the cat carrier ready in case we do need to bail and go to a hotel. And I brought a couple of bags in to throw some clothes in. If we do stay here, I'm going to go ahead and pack up some stuff before we go to bed tonight, just in case. So I got this warning on my phone to avoid flood areas. Am I in a flood area? I don't know. According to the news reports I've been getting, it looks like it's the Catawba River that's going to be overflowing downhill from us. We are up on a hill, so that's why the river is the creek, which now looks like a river, is flowing so darn quickly. So here's another warning, it says that the river stage of the Catawba River at Pleasant Gardens was at 11.4 feet, and at 11 feet the Catawba River starts to flood the River Breeze campground. At 12 feet, Pleasant Gardens and Deerfield campgrounds will likely have to be evacuated. These campgrounds are all downhill from us, but my concern is if I do need to evacuate, what direction do I go? Because I think my escape route roads are all possibly going to be flooded. I'm out again, checking the status of things. It is now 8 o'clock. I wanted to come out at least one more time before it got too dark to see what's going on. We did lose power for a few seconds earlier, and I had not really thought about the prospect of losing power, and I'm going to be in trouble if we do, because we are not set up properly with enough battery power. Hi guys, yeah, I'm coming back in. Okay, all right, moving. Trying to decide what to do here, whether to go ahead and leave the campground or to stay. I think I'm probably better off staying, mainly because there's so much flooding in the area, and I'm afraid that I wouldn't be able to leave. Asheville's flooding, that's to the west of us. Morganton is flooding, that's to the east of us. I don't know what else where I'm supposed to go, because that's 40 access, other than going on some back roads and going north. And I think I'm probably better off just staying here as opposed to being on the road and running the risk of driving into something that I don't want to drive into. I did talk to the campground owner once again and ask him about the flooding, because he said he's keeping an eye on the creek as well, and either he or someone from the fire department would come banging on my door if we need to evacuate. I don't know where we'd evacuate to, but they, I'm sure, have some place in mind. It's now 10:40 at night, and the power went out 10 minutes ago. Don't anticipate it coming back on. So I've shut down as much as I can. I have a little bit more light on than I probably should. And the whole campground, of course, is down. I guess I will just kind of hunker down for the night and see what happens. I hope they can get the power back up. Yes, I know this video is dark, lousy picture, but it cannot be helped. This is all the light that I can spare right now, because the power has been out since just before 10:30, and it's now going on midnight. So we're running off of what little battery power we have, which is not much, because we didn't get much with this rig. So they have a new flash flood warning out now till 4:30 a.m. And apparently there have been some landslides or mudslides or whatever along I-40, so that's been closed. All of the campgrounds along the Catawba River have been evacuated, and that does not include us. And basically they're saying stay off the roads unless you are told to evacuate and you have to escape flooding. It's going to be a long night. Okay, it's now 12:30. The sheriff came by and evacuated the campground because they said they were afraid that the dam was going to break. So now I'm in the car, in the truck, and headed for the Glenwood Baptist Church, which they said is the place to go. Trying to make my way there. And I only have one cat with me, Shorty. Pokey would not come with me. He jumped into the little cat condo and on the top shelf, and I couldn't reach him. I couldn't coax him down or anything, so he's not with me. So we'll probably be spending the night in the truck is what I'm assuming. It is now 1:30 a.m. on Wednesday, whatever the date is after Memorial Day, and I am sitting in the truck in the parking lot of the Glenwood Baptist Church. They evacuated our campground because they were afraid that the dam was going to break on Lake Tahoma, I believe is the lake that was just uphill from the campground. And I actually drove by that lake earlier today and thought that it looked pretty darn high. I did appreciate that they went ahead and just evacuated us. So now I'm sitting here at this church, which is an evacuation point. There's electricity here. There's a few other people here. The building is open. So I've got some resources here if I need it. Just got off the phone with Marvin, and he's still in Tennessee, and but is packed and ready to go first thing in the morning. He offered to come back tonight, and I just said no. It was better just to not be on the road tonight, because I wasn't even sure what roads were open, and it would just be safer for him to wait at least until daylight and see what's going on. As I said, I made it here, but I only have one cat with me, so I hope, Pokey will be okay. I don't know if I'll be able to sleep at all tonight. I'm going to just stay in the truck and try and sleep. That's about all I know for now, so check in with you later. The siren going off. It's 3:30 a.m. I don't know what this means, but I have a feeling it might mean the dam just broke. I'm going to go find out. And the siren that I heard was apparently an alert for the fire department and other emergency personnel to go check the Catawba River. So that was a warning for that. Apparently it's supposed to be cresting here very soon at 15 feet, and like at 11 feet 5 inches is when that thing would overflow. So the Catawba River's in big trouble. That's all I know so far. So it's daylight now. I got about 45 minutes of sleep last night in the car, if that. Tripp said that the emergency management person in McDowell County is supposed to be making some kind of an announcement or a report or something at 7:20. So that's in about 4 minutes. So wait and see what they say. Talked with a fireman this morning, and he said really nothing was different. They were still waiting for daybreak to go inspect the dam. I had to switch shelter locations because the church location was shutting down since there was barely anybody there, and apparently the majority of the people were at the YMCA, so they said that they were consolidating and I had to go over to the Y. So I am there now, and there are a lot of people here, and news crews and I don't know, policemen and all that kind of stuff. They're supposed to be making an announcement between 9:30 and 10 about the dam situation and if it's safe to go back or not. So I've got about an hour, and I'm going to feed the cat and try and sleep because I am just incredibly exhausted. And then I'll go back in and see if they have an announcement. It is 10:07. They just made a media announcement at the YMCA that we have been given the all clear to go back to the campgrounds, that the dam was never in any danger. It was apparently a concrete wall behind the dam that was the problem, but that more rain is expected and we may be called upon to evacuate again. But for right now, we can all go back to our campgrounds except for those people along the Catawba River. I understand that one of the campgrounds down there got hit hard and the campers are floating.
In half a mile, turn right.
We were lucky, I think, in terms of our location. I hope I'll find out because I'm headed back to the campground now. It is almost 11 o'clock now. I have talked with my neighbor across the street over there. They got back at the same time I did, and as you can see, camper looks good. The water level on the creek has actually come down a little bit since the last filming. still not feeling completely secure, and the big kicker is that we still do not have power, and I don't know when it's going to come back on. My neighbor across the way though has a generator. They've offered that I could charge phone or whatever over there. So I've got the cats reunited. Pokey came down when I came back home, so that's where we are. And Marvin is on his way home. Thank goodness. I hope he can make it home safely. I don't want to do this by myself again. I am very happy to report it is now 5 minutes till 2 o'clock and Marvin is home. And as soon as he called to say he was ready for me to come pick him up at the rental car place, the sun came out and the electricity came back on. However, now we're back at the campground and it is pouring and it's really cold rain, but at least we're semi getting things back together again. And here is Marvin back home.
And I am so glad to be back home. My sweetie was having a meltdown.
I really was. I still am going to.
It's the morning of May 31st here in Marion, North Carolina. We've been making the news a lot because of the forced evacuation, which included the area where we are right now, due to the Tahoma Dam potentially being breached. Engineers evaluated the dam and decided that it was safe for people to return, so we're now back at our campsite. While I pan around, I want to talk a little bit about the impact this event has had on us personally. I was away for most of this on a business opportunity. So Kathy was in the rig by herself with the 2 cats. 2 nights ago, it was raining quite hard, and at around midnight, an emergency evacuation order, mandatory in nature, was issued. Kathy had been anticipating this and was already packed and was ready to go to the shelter when she found out where it was. She spent a sleepless night in the truck with the cat. Notice I said the cat because one of our cats hid in a place where Kathy could not retrieve him. So she made the decision that if we lost the rig, we would have to lose one of our cats. I'm sure that was a very difficult decision. She went to the shelter, which was the Glenwood Baptist Church. It turned out that very few people actually went to that shelter, and most went to the YMCA, which was another designated shelter in the area. They finally advised people at the Glenwood Baptist Church to go to the YMCA. So after a sleepless night, she went to the YMCA, checked in, and was told that there would be an announcement in the mid-morning regarding the dam. They were a little delayed in announcing finally that the people could go back to wherever it was they came from because the emergency evacuation order was lifted and that the dam was probably not going to break. So she moved back, and that was on the day that I returned from my business trip. So she got a brief nap and then picked me up when I arrived in town. Yesterday she showed signs of what I would call combat fatigue or shock from the events. Right now she's sleeping, and I hope she gets a good rest because that's the best thing she can do to recover at this time.
On the water level today, this is Thursday at almost 11 o'clock. Here's an indication of just how high the water got. This is a water line on the bridge at the entrance to the campground. What we've been told is that this is a controlled runoff now from the lake. They are actually opening up the dam to try and keep the lake level down. It makes me feel a whole lot better. So now I feel like we can start to enjoy life in this beautiful campground. It is now June 2nd, and I think the danger has finally passed. It has stopped raining. The sun has been out actually the past couple of days, and it's really nice. The creek, as you can see, is down from where it used to be, and I think this is more what it's supposed to look like when it's normal. So we are now going to go out and have some fun today, and we're going to get out and enjoy Marion, North Carolina, this campground, and probably go visit the historic Carson House, maybe watch some radio controlled flying going on if they can get their planes up today, because that happens at this campground too. And if we can do any of that, I'll post other videos, so watch for those other videos. Thanks for watching and getting through this rather exciting experience with me all by myself. And if you like these videos, please subscribe at the bottom and watch for more videos in the future. Bye.